Hey all, here at OS Reviews. A couple months back, we checked out a very cool power bank called the Tegic Block. I liked it a lot because of the transparent window, allowing you to see some of the circuitry that's going on. And although the functionality isn't really anything new, after all, it is just a power bank, it's really the design that made it stand out and was pretty attractive. Well, today we're taking a look at yet another model that is kind of in that same realm. It's called the Yoozer, and this is a 5,000 milliamp hour pack, so a little bit smaller than the Tegic Block 02, but what's unique here is it has magnetic Qi wireless charging. It does also have magnets, so if you have a MagSafe compatible iPhone, it will lock into place a little bit easier. Even has a folding stand, so you can use it as a standard Qi charger when you plug it into the wall, and it can just pass through the power. It gets up to 18 watts when you're using the USB port, and if you're using the wireless Qi charging, it gets up to 10 watts. It's usually going on sale with coupons for around $40. I think that's reasonable, though of course it still is going to be a little bit more pricey than a standard 5,000 milliamp hour pack. You can also use it as a stand to watch videos while it's charging in either the horizontal or the vertical orientation. Aside from the power bank itself, we do have just a simple USB Type-C charging cable along with a quick start guide. And then really it's just the power bank itself, which indeed does look very striking in terms of how everything is transparent, and it does seem to be pretty well constructed as well. The front here is made of tempered glass that has slightly curved 2.5D edges, which is pretty soft, doesn't really cut into your hands. And on the side here, the rim is constructed out of aluminum alloy, so it feels very sturdy. We have just the Type-C port on the bottom there. There's a power key that you can press on to begin the Qi charging, and there's also a LED indication light. If it's green, it means it's over 80%, red is between 10 and 80%, and if it's under 10%, the red light here will start to flash. And inspecting things closely, we can also make out kind of the manufacturing date as well. Otherwise, again, very simple, some additional brand etching on the sides, and on the back, it really reminds me a lot of one of those Moft phone stands or one of those wallet cases that you would stick on, and it's pretty much the same thing, but permanently attached here. It's crafted out of fabric, so it's soft to grip, prevents it from sliding around on a surface, and also acts as the kickstand. So when you want to activate it, it just locks into place kind of like origami. Now, one thing I will say, though, is the magnets in this locking mode or mechanism is not the tightest. Might be just because the fabric is still stiff because it's new, but for the first time when you are using it, I did find I needed to kind of press down on it a little bit to get a tight seal, and afterwards it works well enough as far as popping it up. At least it didn't feel too loose, could still support the weight of the phone. There is just one position though, it doesn't further elevate or tilt back, so this is the one mode that you're looking at. Still, it is a very clever design, and the back here behind the soft kickstand is actually a polycarbonate plastic, so not quite as premium there, but overall, for the most time when you are closing it up, you aren't really in contact with that. You're still pretty much touching fabric along with metal and glass, so very well built, I have to admit. Here's a quick size comparison with the aforementioned Tegic Block. Again, this one here is about twice the capacity, so it's not surprising that it's going to be larger there. And overall, it still is pretty compact as far as power banks are concerned. It's still pocket size and easy enough to take with you when on the road. But again, keep in mind that at 5,000 milliamp hours, it's also not going to be the biggest capacity. It will pretty much charge up your smartphone one time these days, especially as phones have bigger and bigger batteries, but don't expect it to give you multiple top-ups. Afterwards, putting just the phone on top of it, we should see the Qi charging start, as you can see there, and it will be fast charging wirelessly. But again, at 10 watts, it's still going to take a little bit longer than the 18 watts if you were using wired. A couple of remarks: if you're not using an iPhone, you can still add that magnetic MagSafe functionality just by popping on a magnetic ring that you can easily find on Amazon or eBay, and this pretty much also allows you to lock the power bank into place a little bit more easily without it falling around. There's other phone cases as well that you can pick up that has this magnet embedded onto the case that can also add this functionality. What I will say though is it is a glass surface because it's transparent, which is always going to be a little bit more slippery and fragile, so a rubber treatment might be a little more practical, but obviously that would lose out on the cool factor of being able to see what's going on. The Qi charging can also go into a low power mode automatically, so if you're trying to charge something something like TWS wireless buds, you can see that popping it on here, the charging will still function. And yes, it can charge AirPods and other wireless buds when you need to, but here is an example where because it's glass, it is quite slippery and may slide around more easily than rubber. So ideally you have to be kind of in a flat surface, putting it down, and then it will work. In the wire charging mode, again, it is missing a full-size Type A port, so you have to use that Type C both for input, charging up the power bank, and for output if you want to. So you will need something like a Type C to Type C, but it definitely works, and in this mode, again, just gets you a little bit of a faster charging rate. I would still like to see them add a regular full-size Type A port because there is plenty of space for that. It is a smart charger though, in the sense it will stop charging if one of the devices reaches 100%. And if you're wondering, yes, it holds, again, the phone just fine if you have a magnetic attachment on your device, or again, if you have a MagSafe iPhone, while still looking pretty cool, I have to admit, with that transparent window that you can still make out at the very bottom. It will top up most phones in around an hour and a half to 2 hours, so reasonable speed at the 5,000 milliamp hour capacity. So that is more or less it as far as our hands-on review of, again, this very unique Yoozer wireless magnetic power bank with that transparent window and kickstand functionality. Though it isn't going to get you the craziest or fastest rates in the world, it really is the design that is the most striking and unique part about it. Check out more details if you're interested in the links down below, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the Yoozer magnetic Qi wireless power bank.